Do you have a hard time getting started? Do you have a hard time staying motivated? Do you have a hard time finding a way to prioritize your health? You're not alone. This is something that affects mostly all women. We just have a hard time taking care of ourselves because we have been conditioned and groomed to take care of everyone and everything else, making sure all things are in order. Meanwhile, we are falling apart. We are declining. Our muscles are wearing away. Our mental health is deteriorating. And most often, the ones that are around us, our loved ones, laugh. They laugh because they think menopause is a funny subject. I am here to tell you that it is not. It is serious. So if you are into this type of information and content, please stay until the very end. If you are new here, welcome to my channel, Life with Lissette. If you are returning, welcome back. It's where we talk all things post-menopause in terms of weight, lifestyle, nutrition, and just life in general, because it's hard. And that's one thing that I want to talk about. So my mother-in-law is 86 years old. She will be 87 later this year. And I met my mother-in-law later on in her life. She was 52, almost 52 years old when I met her, when my husband and I became a couple 37 years ago. And it was something that I saw her, a woman full of life, taking care of her family. She had 6 children. And this woman, all she did, everything she did was about her family. She loved her children and accepted them unconditionally. This woman was a beacon and still is, but she is not the same woman. And the more time we spend with her, the harder it is for me to see her in the light in which she's in today. But I'm using her story as encouragement and as an incentive, not just for myself, but to hopefully inspire you too. We don't need to look far for motivation. We don't need to look very deep for inspiration. It's all around us. If you have a woman in your life that is in her 70s or 80s, and if she's blessed to reach her 90s, that is your inspiration. They are your motivation. These women lived the life and the cycle when hormone replacement therapy was something that was forbidden. It created a scare and a hysteria in not just our country, in the United States, but all over the world. The study that was done in the early 90s, late 80s, where it just scared women. And my mother-in-law, my mother included, they were a part of that cohort of women that were deterred from being on hormone replacement therapy. And what I see today in my mother-in-law is the result of misinformation, the result of lies, the result of denying them something that probably could have her in a better health condition now. It is no secret that women have Alzheimer's and dementia at a much higher rate than men. When you look around a room and whether it be a restaurant, whether it be the mall, do a quick look at and see how many more frail women there are than men. And all things being equal, right? So if you take a cohort of men and women and all things being equal, how they were raised, their environment, their lifestyle, their life as a whole, everything is the same. But the only difference is that women go through menopause and men don't. That is the only outlier for a lot of women who suffer from an early onset of dementia, early onset of Alzheimer's. If you guys want more information on this, I will post the links below in my description on the studies that were done regarding this. It's not a phenomenon, it is a true scientific fact. And being with my mother-in-law more often is really an eye-opener for me. I met my mother-in-law later on in her life. I was young. She was 50, almost 52 years old when I met her for the first time, when my husband and I became a couple. And this woman spent her life taking care of her family, being the beacon and the anchor and all of those things. And I see her today and it breaks my heart because she is not at all the same woman, not just physically, but mentally. She is weak. She has a hard time lifting her own leg to get in the car. She has a hard time bringing food up to her mouth to eat. She doesn't remember. She has zero short-term memory. She is weak and hunched over, sad, depressed, lonely. No matter how many times we see her, no matter how many people are around her, her mental state separates reality and now from her mental state. So there are huge gaps. Even if you see her for 45 minutes or an hour or even a whole day, she will call us later, an hour after dropping her off, and she insists that she has not seen us. And that makes me extremely sad. It hurts me. And I say all this from a very personal and emotional place because I think that we look for external resources for motivation and inspiration. And the reality is that they are around us all day long. These women that grew up in this era of fear and denial and misinformation, they are now paying for that. My mother, like I said, my mother's included in this. You know, they lived in a world where lifting weights was masculine. HRT would cause breast cancer or any other cancer. It was normal to have hot flashes. It was normal to have lapses in memory with no kind of remediation, with no kind of diagnosis, with no help whatsoever. They were laughed at. They were mocked. But yet, they continue to push. They continue to show up for their family. And I'm doing this quick video to say, we don't need external motivation. Let's look around us. Let's look at the women that lived in that phase and don't have access to what we have access to. I encourage women to educate themselves. You know, our smartphones, the one I'm recording on right now, our laptops, our iPads, we have access to too much information. I will link for you below the callback to the study that the Women's Health Initiative originally put out back in the early 90s that misled these women. And it makes me angry. It makes me frustrated. It makes me enraged. And there is no reason why in 2026, women are still believing that hormone replacement therapy causes cancer, that women should not have access to proper health care, to proper physicians that are here to make the next third of their lives something that they can thrive in. And while it's hard to find those physicians, they are needles in a haystack. I want to be a little bit of that conduit of hope to tell you that there is information and there are resources for you. When I look at my mother-in-law, who was a strong, vibrant, happy woman, who loved her family fiercely, who would do so much for her community, now being in a place where she can't even remember her own name or her birth date or where she lives. That should not happen. For women, if you are 50 plus and you are experiencing postmenopause symptoms, I encourage you to go see a physician. I encourage you to find a physician that will listen to you, that will be there for you, and that will support you, that will meet you where you are. Because what I will not do, I will not be my mother-in-law. I will not be my mother. I will not be lied to. I will not be misguided. Why? Because I am going to educate myself, and I am educating myself. I will go in fully knowledgeable of my symptoms and the why. And I want this video to be an encouragement and of positive reinforcement to you, to know that you have information at your fingertips, that your symptoms are real. It's not just menopause. It's the fact that we have one of the most important hormone receptors in our bodies that have disappeared. And our bodies are working hard to recover. Our bodies are working hard to figure out how to help us stay afloat, to help us stay healthy. I want you to armor yourself. I want you to not be my mother-in-law. I want you to know that there is hope, and there are resources, and there are things that you can do to help you during this phase. Lift heavy. Yes, lift heavy. Lift weights. It will not make you bulky. Drink your water. Consider taking hormone replacement therapy or a homeopathic route. But we must first get to a place where we acknowledge and accept menopause as a normal state of life. It is nothing to be mocked. It is nothing to be laughed at. It is nothing to not take serious, because our bodies are fighting hard every single day. Our bodies are fighting to keep us alive, and we have to help it. Increase your protein, increase your fiber, get 8 hours of sleep. See a physician that will support you and your needs. And if that means you have to get 4 or 5 different opinions, then you do so. You are worth it. And I wish I knew back 36 years ago, I wish I knew then what I know now. Because I know for a fact that my mother-in-law and my mother would not be in the health condition and the mental condition that they are in. And that angers me. And that should anger you, because there is no reason for it. If men had this issue in the 90s, it would have been an epidemic. They would have rallied the money, the resources, and every single scientific person behind a desk to come up with a solution, to come up with a remedy for them. But instead, for women, we are kind of kicked to the curb. And we are told that we're just going crazy, that we're not worth it. It's just menopause. Get over it. No. And I'm going to use my channel for good. I'm going to use this channel for information. I'm going to use my channel for education. Because I feel it on a personal level to have to share this information. Watching my mother-in-law daily deteriorate and become someone that she doesn't even know is one of the most heart-wrenching things that I could witness. I would not be doing myself justice, and I would not be doing my daughters justice. As a daughter, as a mother of daughters, I have an obligation to inform them so that they can do today, they can implement things today in their 30s that will save them when they are in their 70s and 80s. I want them to live healthy, long, substantive lives. And I want you to do the same. So think of this as a PSA. It's not a video that has a lot of information. It's more for motivation and inspiration. And it really is a reflective point. I had that today. I spent a couple of hours very emotional. And I just wanted to come on here and share this little bit with all of you. So to all my women out there, if you are 50 plus and you are struggling, you're not going crazy. You are okay, because you are going to go get the information that you need to help you be the best version of you. We are not dying. We are thriving. Let's build a collective community here that we can all support and help each other. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates with someone. I don't know who this was intended for. I just felt it heavy on my heart after being with my mother-in-law for most of the day. And it really did make me think and inspire me to sit here and record this quick video for all of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Go find yourself a doctor. Increase your protein, increase strength training, increase your fiber, drink your water, get your sleep. That's a start. All right, my friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And until the next one, adios.